Nizzy Sports Chat. I am your host, Nizzy, and in this video, you guys are going to be breaking down yesterday's crazy Blockbuster trade that sent Russell Wilson from Seattle to the Denver Broncos. Obviously, Seattle gets a bunch of picks and players in return. I mean, this was just crazy news yesterday, you guys. My jaw damn near hit the floor. News came out right after I heard about the Green Bay Packers. Big fan of the Packers I am. Keeping Aaron Rodgers, extending him for what is to be a 4-year extension. We're not too sure of the contract details yet. Sounds like they're still trying to work some things out there logistically. So the reports of him making those 200 M's over the next 4 years are inaccurate, but he is going to be re-signing with the Green Bay. So that's some huge news, and I thought that was going to be the biggest news of the day yesterday, you guys. And then bang, we got hit with an absolute blockbuster. Russell Wilson is no longer a Seattle Seahawk. Just crazy news here, you guys. I'm sure Broncos fans are elated right now, especially after their hopes and dreams getting absolutely crushed. You know, about half hour before they hear the Russell Wilson news, they hear that Aaron Rodgers is going to stay with the Packers. Obviously, there was talks of him going to the Broncos, to join up with his old offensive coordinator, Nathaniel Hackett, who's the new head coach over there. But nonetheless, the Broncos stayed in the game, man. They ended up getting an absolute outstanding talent in Russell Wilson. They've just vaulted themselves into Super Bowl contention, in my opinion. Obviously, they're in the toughest division in football. It was already one of the tougher divisions in football, but now I would say it is the toughest division in football. I would have said the NFC West was the toughest before with Russ Wilson in there. Obviously, you got the defending Super Bowl champs, the Rams. You got the 49ers, the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. So that was a really tough division for him to be in. So he's just jumping ship over to another real tough division, the toughest division in the AFC. Probably the toughest division in the entire league now, with guys like Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr. And now you got Russell Wilson. That's just a mean quad of quarterbacks there, you guys. I mean, it's going to be an absolute battle for first place in that division for years to come here. It's going to be an exciting division to keep an eye on, to say the least. Right real quick before we start breaking down some of the trade details here, you guys, if you go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Been getting a lot of support on the channel lately, you guys, and I greatly appreciate it. We're well on our way to 100 subscribers here. We're at 76 at the moment. Would love to get up to 100 here in the next month or so, so please go ahead and drop a subscribe if you so choose, you guys. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start getting into it here. So the Broncos obviously get Russell Wilson in this trade package. They also get a 2022 4th-round pick. And then the Seahawks got a nice haul in return. They got a 2022 first-rounder, 2022 second-rounder, and a 2022 5th-round pick. So they got 3 picks coming up in this year's draft. And then they also got a 1st and 2nd-round pick in 2023. Coming up in next year's. Obviously, the picks in next year's draft are probably going to be a little bit lower end first rounders, obviously, because you would expect Denver to be competing for a playoff spot as well as a Super Bowl championship next season. So you would expect them to have a low first round pick next year. Obviously, I think they're 8th or 9th this year, so they'll have a top 10 pick this year. Seattle's going to have to make the most of it, man. They haven't drafted very well over the last few seasons. They're going to have to change that up big time. Obviously, they got some good quality picks here coming up for this year's draft. They're going to need to really add in some good talent at areas of need. Obviously, the offensive line is going to need some help. They could add in a couple pieces on the defensive side of the football as well. Obviously, they released Bobby Wagner shortly after Russ Wilson got traded, so he's no longer with the squad either. So they're going to have a hole in the middle of their defense there at the middle linebacker position. Maybe they go and find their new star middle linebacker early on in the draft. It is possible there. And then some of the players that they're getting in return, they're getting quarterback Drew Lock, they're getting tight end Noah Fant, and defensive end Shelby Harris. So obviously, Shelby Harris is going to help bolster up that defensive front a little bit for him. Noah Fant's one of the up-and-coming star tight ends in the league, in my opinion. He's right there with buddy from the Detroit Lions. TJ Hawkinson, I believe his name is. Him and TJ Hawkinson are, in my opinion, are the 2 up-and-coming big-time tight ends. That are probably going to take over as the stars of the league for the tight end position when guys like Travis Kelce, who's up in his 30s now, end up retiring soon enough. But those 2 are 2 great up-and-coming tight ends, so I think Noah Fant's a great pickup for them. And then Drew Lock, you guys, will have to see what they decide to do with him here, if they're going to roll with Drew Lock as their starter, or if they're going to try and bring in a veteran presence and have Drew Lock back him up. It's going to be very interesting to see, how Seattle plays that one out. I'd like to see, honestly, Drew Lock just get an opportunity for a season and see what he's made of. See if he can, produce something decent for this Seattle Seahawks team coming in, to a new team here, a new system. Obviously, he's going to have Noah Fant. He's used to throwing the ball to him, so they'll have a bit of that continuity. He's still got DK Metcalf. You know, they got Tyler Lockett as well over there. I would expect them to try and trade or cut Tyler Lockett. I would assume he was big time buddies with Russ Wilson there, so I would not even be surprised if he ends up getting released or traded somewheres as well and ends up joining up with Russell Wilson sometime down the road here. But nonetheless, they got some nice pieces in place in Seattle. They just basically are starting to rebuild here. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see if they decide to ride with Drew Lock for the season, or if they're going to try and bring in another veteran quarterback. We'll have to see what happens there. And then over to the Denver Broncos side of things, you guys, I mean, this just changes the game big time for the Broncos. This is a very similar trade. Maybe not what pieces they're trading, but it's very similar to when they picked up Peyton Manning at the end of his career, when he was able to go play with them for a few seasons, ended up finishing off with a Super Bowl victory. Obviously, Russ Wilson has a few more years left under his belt there. He's only 33 years old, I believe. So if Russ Wilson really wanted to, he could play a solid 7 or 8 more years yet before he's finished up. Definitely going to be some opportunities within that window to be able to go win a Super Bowl or two. Broncos already have an outstanding defense. They got some nice weapons on offense. They can just bolster up that offensive line and maybe add an additional weapon or two for Russ Wilson. I think these guys will be just fine and be able to compete big time with the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Derek Carr. It's going to be exciting, man. It's going to be an exciting division to keep an eye on here. I mean, like I said, I was blown away by this trade. I think I seen the first note I seen of it was on Barstool Sports, had something on Instagram there talking about the trade, and I thought it was fake news at first, you guys, until I started seeing all the mainstream starting to bring it up. And then you start seeing more posts and articles come out that he has been traded. So pretty crazy news, to say the least, you guys. That pretty well wraps it up for this video. Just want to give my 2 cents on the crazy trade. I think it's going to end up working out real well for the Broncos here. Gives them an opportunity to compete within their division and make a run at a Super Bowl title here. Would love your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. Do you think this was a good move for the Seahawks to make? And which team do you think got the better out of this trade? Do you think the Broncos won with Russ Wilson, or do you think the Seahawks won with all the picks and players that they got in return? Like I said, would love your guys' opinion in the comment section down below. Please go ahead and like this video if you like sporting content like this. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more sporting content like this in the near future. Thank you guys so much for watching, man, and this is Nizzy with Nizzy Sports Channel.